Welcome again to my video. This is the second installment as a secondary offering for the argument I was trying to make regarding Jesse James' controversial touchdown call on December 17th against the New England Patriots. I reviewed that play many times, and nothing has changed my opinion that that was a touchdown, and I'm going to further clarify my arguments and my position as such. First, I get the common comment, why am I pursuing this so diligently? Well, I feel there's a lot at stake. It's not just this controversial call. It's been controversial calls that have been made throughout this NFL season. It just happened to be that this was the most important game of the year for all fans, not just Steeler fans and New England Patriot fans. It was a game that was to decide conceivably home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And that's a big deal in this day and age, because it's much better, generally, at times, it's much easier to play at home than it is on the road. Secondly, we pay for this sport, and we pay for fairness and integrity in its functioning and the source of entertainment. If it loses that, we lose this hard-earned money that we pay so ardently for to support our teams. So something has to give here. The reason for this video is to further clarify my point regarding whether that was a catch, whether it was an incomplete pass. My view of a catch, let's assume there's no rule at all. No rule at all. Let's just say it's no rule at all. What constitutes a catch? And it also boils down to a definition according to the NFL, what constitutes a receiver and what constitutes a runner, but I'll get to that. But for now, what constitutes a catch? It seems to me whenever a receiver grabs the ball, has possession and control of that ball, that's without a question a catch. If there were no rules in effect, my argument is Jesse James had the ball. In one quick motion, he pulled the ball down. If you see the highlights, my thought is that he knew exactly where he was regarding the end zone, and he wanted to try to get in there before in any way, shape, or form he got touched. So that's when he made an additional movement, went to his knees, and lunged for the end zone. Only after he penetrated the plane did he have this snafu with the ball. But after that, it should have already been done. So let's assume, for the sake of argument, that there's no rule in effect. Is it a touchdown or not? Without a doubt, it's a touchdown. He had possession and control. He was down on his knees. Only when he went to the end zone and he touched the ground did it appear that he lost the ball to the ground. But he already made the catch. He had possession and control. But just for the sake of this argument, I wanted to review with you completing the catch. This surviving the ground rule. Completing the catch, it says the receiver, number one, there are three principles here, and I'm going to argue each and every one along with a legal perspective on each of those in my argument, which would conclusively show that the NFL officials made a wrong decision in this. One, the receiver must control the pass. Clearly, James had the ball, brought it down. That was enough to me to show possession and control. Once control is established, the receiver must get both feet or body part other than the hands on the ground. You see the video, he brings the ball down. Then another motion, he turns around toward the end zone. He's on his knees. Isn't the knees a body part? Last time I looked at my knees, they were part of my body. Those two principles, here's the one that we run into problems. The receiver must maintain control of the football long enough to become a runner. This whole argument of surviving the ground. When he went down and was on both knees, Max Kellerman puts it succinctly, cogently, and clearly for everybody to understand. He knew as close to the end zone as he was. He was reaching. He didn't want to be touched before he penetrated. He was on both knees. He reached for the end zone. Once he penetrated the plane with one atom of the football, that was a touchdown. With that in mind, once he was on both knees, my argument would be he became a runner at that point. So why do we have this problem with interpretation? If there were no rule, it's a touchdown. This rule appears to be a rule that would deny James the touchdown. However, here's what I'm prepared to argue. One, if a receiver catches the ball, takes 2 steps into the end zone, and then drops the ball, or once he penetrates the plane as a runner, it's a touchdown. If he catches the ball as he's going into the end zone, maintains control of that, that's a touchdown. Like Le'Veon Bell in the game versus the Texans. He was a runner. He ran. He extended himself in the end zone, penetrated the plane, a touchdown. Receivers score touchdowns. Runners score touchdowns. However, here's the problem. With the James case, we get into this gray area. Does this constitute a catch? If it constitutes a catch, does the further movement show that he crossed the plane, created a touchdown? We get into that gray area. And once we get in that gray area, all hell breaks loose. And when it does, you have inconsistencies. Finally, I have reviewed, I've looked at, I've watched football, and there's been a strong deference to upholding the call on the field because they are in the best position to see what happens. The call on the field in the James case was a touchdown. For them to go through this, there's so many conflicting arguments. Even football players themselves and other sources have said, we don't know what a catch is. Here's where, when you run into those difficulties, there's a concept in the law that I'm very akin to. It's called equity. Equitable principles. Whenever there's a conflict and you can't decide it on legal principles, there are equity principles that kick in to decide what's fair. In these circumstances, gut instinct, even if there was a rule that appeared to control in this instance, yet there's so many inconsistencies, equity, fairness would demand that the call on the field stand. I will argue this till I'm blue in the face. To back up a minute, why do I pursue this? We're paying fans. You know, we pay our hard-earned money. You know, people live paycheck to paycheck, and some of the only recreation they have is to go see these football games. It's a matter of fairness and the inconsistencies across the board. Patriots and Texans, Patriots and Jets, Patriots and Bills, Patriots and Steelers. Come on. Is there something wrong? Is there a favoritism? Is there a bias? Fact of the matter is, fairness you see that play, gut instinct. I've talked to people that have no football experience, and you know what they tell me? Frank, I reviewed that play. That was a touchdown. So you know what they did? Petition@change.org. Demand Commissioner Goodell turn that call around for equity and fairness, because it's a fair, it's a right, and the proper thing to do. And for the fans of this sport, not just for Steeler fans, Patriot fans, if that would have happened to the Patriots, I don't know what would happen, but if it would have happened and that call would have been overturned, I would have felt the same way. If it was Brady to Gronkowski, he did the same thing, that would have been a touchdown. And for them to deny that based on that circumstance delves into that gray area. And when you delve into that, anybody's right, because you don't know. But let me tell you, in that gray area, equity and common sense knows. So I urge each and every viewer of this video, each and every person that's privy to this play or not privy to this play, please join me. Please join me in this effort. Sign the petition, review the petition, sign it, share it, keep arguing our points, because I feel I'm on the right side, and I will argue it till I'm blue in the face. There's a gray area. They don't know. All I know is James had the ball in both hands, control and possession. He went to his knees. Another movement. He lunged for the end zone. Knowing where he was and get that, he wanted to score. He was akin to a runner. If he doesn't quite fit the definition of runner, equity would demand that. So I urge you to sign that petition. My name's Frank D. Tig, and the petition's at change.org, but you can find it on my Facebook page, or send me a message and I'll be glad to send you the link. Thank you for your time in reviewing this additional video. I appreciate your support, and I will do everything in my power, including meeting with the commissioner or his liaisons, to discuss this with them to see when something is going to be done about this. Because me, as a fan, I am prepared to give up the game of football over this and other calls, because favoritism in sports is inappropriate. And what does that teach about sportsmanship to our children? Cheating? Anyway, thank you for your time. God bless. Have the happiest and fairness of New Year's. And maybe I'll be posting a video again soon. Thank you.